Hey guys, welcome to the Work the Web interview series where I shine the light on different strategies that you can use to help you grow your business online in a way that makes sense for you. So there isn't only one right way to take advantage of the online world. So I'm interviewing over 11 experts that focused in on one thing, and that one thing helped them grow their business in ways that they couldn't even imagine. So today I'm here with our special guest, Bonnie from Bonnie Bryant Creative, and we're going to be talking all about how giving your clients a top-notch client experience can help you grow your business online. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself really quick in case you're new around here. I'm Mariah, a website strategist over at mariahmagazine.com, where I work with online business owners to help them get more website traffic and improve their SEO by creating a website strategy that's unique to their business goals and their ideal audience. So Bonnie, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself really quick?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Bonnie Bryant from Bonnie Bryant Creative. Bonnie Bryant Creative is a boutique website firm. I call us a boutique creative studio. So basically, we do everything that an online business owner needs to get known on the web, everything from brand design to website design and strategy, which Mariah works with on us. Web copy, we have clients who work with us on social media and stuff like that. All different types of stuff, marketing strategy, everything. So kind of like an all-in-one place where you can get everything you need for your online business or your brick and mortar business. And I like to say that we give you the power behind the pretty. We don't just give you attractive, pretty, beautiful sites or brands. We have really smart strategy behind it as well.
Yes, we do. Yeah, me and Bonnie work together on a whole bunch of projects. So I can 100% say that it really is a one-stop shop for everything. But okay, so let's get into, kind of a little bit with your business. So like, how did you get started in the online business world?
So there's two answers to that. So I actually started in a product side of my business in 2012. When I was in law school, I dropped out of law school, and it literally went nowhere for like 5 years. Like I probably did like $100 in sales for 5 years because I was working 9 to 5 jobs and I didn't have time for it. So that's technically when I started my business. But in 2016, I had been working in luxury sales and marketing in the interior design industry for a few years, and I had a really long commute. And I was in a really toxic work environment, and I was like, you know what, it's time to, if I'm ever going to start my own business, it's going to be now. So
I feel like that's been kind of like a repeating theme in a few people that I've interviewed, is like the toxic and work environment, which was like the main problem of why people were like, I'm going to need another solution here.
Yeah, well, seriously, if I hadn't been in that toxic work environment, I probably would still be working a 9 to 5 in Manhattan. But it's a blessing because I quit and I'm so much happier now. But I was like, you know what? I don't have kids. Like, I've been saving up money for a while. Like, if I'm ever going to start my own business, it's going to be now. So it kind of evolved. I started out doing like social media marketing, which I really don't like doing. Now I have a team member who does it because I hate doing it myself. And
Yeah.
for the first few months, I kind of tried to figure out what I wanted to do. And I realized I'm really, really love doing the creative stuff. I love, writing. I love creating brand visuals, but I also really love business strategy stuff as well. So I tried to marry those together. About a year and a half ago, we expanded it to do web design. I brought on Mariah, who is you, obviously.
Who is you? Who is me? I am me.
So Mariah does a lot of our strategy, a lot of our SEO, and whenever we get a WordPress client, we build our WordPress sites. So
Yeah, kind of like a dream team.
yeah, but I really kind of at this point, looking back, it's oh, okay. So I took all the things I really liked doing and all the things I was really good at and created my own business out of them. And everything I either is not my wheelhouse or things I don't care about or don't want to do, I just found someone else to do it and hired them to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like we could have a whole interview series literally about the benefits of doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long have you been in business? You said since
2016 full-time with Bonnie Bryant Creative.
Yeah, so we're I feel like a lot of the people that I'm interviewing, we all started around the same time, which is super ironic and really cool.
Yeah.
So growing your business, has it always been smooth sailing, or did you run into hiccups or problems, growing pains when you first started, either when you first started out or like when you started growing?
I definitely in the beginning, like, and I honestly blame myself for it. Like, I was not, when I started my business, and I think this is something a lot of people do. They like will take on a client that will pay them no matter whether or not it's a good fit. You're just so excited to get like a paying client that you're
You
like,
like disregard all red flags and you're literally like, wait, what'd you say? Money?
for them, yeah. So, and I also was at a point in my life when I just like was not able to stand up for myself. So clients would like ask crazy things for me, and I was at a point where I was basically being like, if I were getting paid full time for these clients for the work I was doing, it would be like a $75,000 a year marketing manager position. But I was getting paid like $400 a month from each of them. So it was like a joke. And I blame myself for it. I definitely burned out. But then I realized like, hey, I don't like doing social media marketing. I like actually hate it. Okay, so I'm not going to do that anymore. If someone needs that, I'll have someone who's really good at it and really passionate about it do it. But definitely that was like the hiccups, like having red flag clients that I just kind of ignored the red flags and took them on. And of course, like if you ignore the red flags, they don't go away. They just get worse.
Which I think is always an interesting thing. The red flags do get worse.
And what helped me get over that hurdle was honestly like to like simplify it a little bit, like short and sweet was like raising my prices and like realizing my own value, because I think every business owner will say this. When you raise your prices, the worst clients are the cheap clients, and they will suck your soul out, and you'll get like I did $400 from them. So raising my prices really helps. That like I would say that helps.
Even though it's like a huge mental block to raise your prices, especially when you're first starting out. It's like this huge mental thing where you like, raise my prices. People are barely paying what like I have now. What do you mean raise them?
Yeah, like one of my clients kept every month, she'd be like, I know we started out paying you 500, but now we want to pay you 400. Like the next month, can we pay you 300? And I was like, how am I going to get someone to pay me what I'm worth if they keep knocking me down every month? But now it's like, there's definitely that bridge where it's like, you kind of have to like say goodbye to the lower paying work and hope that the higher paying work will come in. But you really need to like, I think what helped me a lot was like really having a talk with myself and like thinking about what I really wanted to do. I did not want to do social media work anymore. I didn't want to do like, you know, this type of work that made me like hate getting out of bed every day. Like if I was going to do that, I'd be working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So number one, focusing on what I liked doing and what I was really good at. And number two, finding a way to get paid for that. And that was just kind of like a really good way forward. So most of my hiccups were solved that way. And also like kind of screening out clients that aren't a good fit and not being afraid to like say no to those projects. Like I won't say like, you're not a good fit, I don't like you, but I'll, you know, there's always, and honestly, a lot of those clients self-select out. Like people will, you know, we'll talk more about my client experience, but during our first phone call, like the people that I get a little bit red flaggy about, like they end up not following through anyway. So that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I know you said, you know, really focusing on those higher paying clients, but what also goes into that, it's like, if you're going to have these clients that are going to pay more for your services, you have to make sure that the experience that they're getting while working with you is in reflection to that higher paying, you know, price tag.
Yeah.
Too. So I feel like that also comes with like a mindset shift too.
Yeah. So
which is, yeah, essentially. So we're like talking over each other because we're both so excited. So yeah, that's essentially like what we're going to be getting into today is like how you can, I guess, having a top-notch client experience not only helps your client, but like it helps you give them more value and makes you feel, I don't know, a little bit better about maybe raising your rates, because you're like, listen, like it's great to work with me. I make this so awesome and easy for them. And like, that's one huge benefit that they get with working with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And like people, like I'm a very friendly person, and like who, like, you know what I mean? Like people, and like I come from a background in luxury sales and marketing. So it's like, that's like really taught me a lot about how to take care of clients and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I think that's really important. That's like a huge piece of the puzzle that, you know, like me, for example, I remember when I started out in the online business world, like we end up giving a client experience just naturally, but it's like you don't think about maybe taking that up a few notches until you get treated, I guess, with like super, super outstanding client experience. And you're like, well, this person was so amazing.
Yeah, you're like, when people get their like little gift packages for me, or even like the Starbucks card that I give them after our first call, they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. But I know that like a lot of my competitors aren't doing that. So, and it's
Yeah.
definitely a genuine thing. Like, I like to take care of people, especially people that are trusting me with their business. So it comes like naturally to me, but also like I'm happy to like help other people figure out how to do it for their own business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So before we get too deep into this, can you just break down maybe like what exactly client experience is, just so people like right off the bat know kind of like what we're talking about, what we're referring to for the rest of this?
Sure. So for me, client experience is like, well, I'm going to go like very meta because like for me, client experience is everything a client touches. Well, a lot of people think like, oh, okay, like gifts, like, you know, your CRM, like your customer relationship management. Yeah, that's client experience. But for me, it's like my brand is like very knowledgeable, but also like bright and friendly and like kind of funny. So when people look at my social media, they'll see that. When people go on my website, like the homepage of my website, the first thing they see, I want them to get the same like brand experience that they get if they had a conversation with me. So like my web copy is like very like friendly. It's not too formal or stilted. It's to the point. We have a lot of visuals on my site, but basically I want people to feel like they know me by the time they scroll down to the footer of my website where my call to action is. Um, so that to me, that's client experience. Like every page they touch on my site, if they're looking at my about page and looking at my team, like I have fun little questions that I asked everyone, like, what's your favorite 90s song? Like that type of thing. Because I think when like, especially clients that are trusting us with their brand and their website, they're trusting us with like an enormous part of their business. So I want them to feel like they know me and to feel like they could trust me. And I think that there are a lot of like web design firms out there that are kind of cold and like corporate, and they don't even have an about page on their site about anything to do with their like the owners. It's just like about us. It's like a bunch of like
Us as the company who started back in 2001.
exactly. You're like, who is behind this company? So I really think customer experience is like everything. Even like so for example, like my you know virtual coffee date. So when people are spending thousands of dollars on their brand and their website with us, right? I don't expect someone to be like, oh, I've never talked to you before, yeah, here's like my credit card. So that was kind of a hurdle that I had to jump, like how to build trust with the clients, answer their questions, and also for me to see if it's a good fit. So I the idea of a virtual coffee date, which is like if you, and because I work with clients from everywhere, if you and I lived in the same town, I would take you out to Starbucks for a coffee. If someone lives in like Oregon, I can't do that. So what I do is I have them book a 15-minute virtual coffee date through my website, and I send them a $5 Starbucks card afterwards. Like I would, like if it was in person, I would have bought them a coffee. So that's kind of how, and people
Yeah,
really,
so it's essentially like putting your personality into like everything you do for the client, and to make them feel warm, to make them feel welcome, to make them feel comfortable and connected with you,
exactly.
essentially, so that they, because and so that they're comfortable enough to communicate with you. Because when you have these projects that, you know, some of them extend out for a long period of time, and some of them you know, can have a decent price tag on them. It's like you want these clients to feel comfortable enough to be able to talk with you and to like work through their problems and all that. So like client experience kind of goes into that.
Yeah, and also I mean, when we're like, you'll know, when we're working with strategy on people, we also get like very sensitive and sometimes proprietary business information. So people are going to trust us with like trade secrets or like all that stuff. I want them to know that they can trust us, that I'm not just, and also that I'm not just going to like sell them whatever service and like pass it off to, I don't know, like some like web developer in like the Philippines or India or like something out of the country, and just have some like code people like working on it. Like they're going to be working with us through the whole process. Another big customer experience thing we do is like we do a strategy call with the client, but me and you, and sometimes one of our other team members will join. We'll do a video call like this where they can see you in person and like talk to you. So I think that's really important, and it goes everything down to like the emails that we send throughout the thing. When I'm doing a brand design, I put everything on an Adobe Spark website because I don't want to send like 10,000 design files back and forth. Even that is like a customer experience thing, and that sucks. Like if you've ever working on a project and like we've been sending back like image attachments, like 5 per email, like for the last 6 weeks. Like it's impossible to find anything. So that's another big client experience thing, just to make everything streamlined and easy. Like our clients are really busy. They're running their own businesses. They're trying to do this project as well. So I just try to make it easy for everyone. And then at the end, I always send like a little thank you gift as well. That's kind of like the wrap up that we do as well. So
Yeah,
like,
and I love seeing that because clients always get so excited about, especially like that wrap up gift at the end, that they're always posting it on social media and they're like super stoked about it. So that's probably one of my favorite things to be able to see.
yeah, we'll be taken care of from like the time we do like our, even like when people like they book the call through my website and I get a notification that it's booked, but I always reach out to be like, hey, just want to let you know I got the notification, because like they are going to get follow-up reminder emails, but like I want them to know that they're not just getting sent like form emails. Like I'm a person and I'm reaching out to them personally. So like from the
Yeah,
time
so
they call to the time the project is booked, like I want the entire experience to be a really positive one.
that's so important. And I think that, you know, obviously on your end, it takes a little bit of time to be able to like set up this process or like set up how you do things. But at the end of the day, making the client feel so over the moon about how things are going and how smooth it's going because of all the little things that you kind of do throughout the project. I think that that's awesome. And that takes the client experience up to like top notch.
Yeah.
Did you start giving your clients like a really awesome client experience like right when you started, or was it something that you kind of just like kept adding on, you know, for each one to see how you could make it better?
Both. So it's always been really important to me, like, even like, I just like have always liked to take care of people. So I worked in luxury sales and marketing and the interior design industry, like I said. And I was like very young in the industry. It's in New York City. It's like a really competitive market. So I worked at a textiles firm, and we like, I mean, I had to kind of like scrounge and get clients on my own. So I would like read through every like Elle Decor and every magazine. Like every time like someone put their favorite, like a designer put their favorite paint color in House Beautiful, I would look in our system. I'd see if they were doing business with us. If they weren't, I would like hand, like let's say someone, like I looked in a design magazine like Elle Decor, and like a designer said, oh, my favorite color of the month is lilac and I love florals. I would send them like a package of samples from our sample room with like that color and those patterns, and I would tie it with a branded ribbon from our company. I would attach my business card on, and I actually had a whole filing cabinet full of like candy in the back that I would put some candies in, and I'd write them a handwritten note like, hey, I saw your feature in House Beautiful, here are some fabrics that go along with that. And like,
you've been doing this before you even like realized that you were doing this.
I was like 24. I was like working at this firm, like nobody was like nobody in my showroom was doing this at all. Like, and I was just like go above and beyond. And like, even when people walked in the showroom, I would just be like super friendly and do everything I could to help them. And it made like such a difference. And also like, as I got like better and better at my, like, you know, as like the years went on, I like, the big designers, I wouldn't necessarily work with them, but I worked with the design assistants, and I treated the design assistants like I would treat the famous designer, because like they were the ones doing a lot of the work and they were the ones I was working with.
Yeah.
So like, hey, Ashley, here's our newest sample.
Wait, you went.
Oh, am I here?
Yeah. Your sound cut out.
So one time, like a woman walked in the showroom wearing this really nice leopard fur coat, and we had a great conversation. So that day I sent her like a bunch of our best selling leopard print fabrics, and like I had a customer for life, like with a handwritten note.
Yeah, just like that genuine effort. Even it literally only takes like a few minutes to take it from like a basic interaction to like, holy crap, that person actually cares. And like for me being a client of you and like working with you, I know that even you're a huge fan of like sending out handwritten notes.
Yeah.
And like, especially being an online business owner, I'm typically like paper free. Like I don't print out things. I don't get things in the mail. I pay everything online. Everything is so digital for me that when I do even get like a simple handwritten note, whether it's for like Christmas or just like a, hey, what's up? Like that call was so awesome. Like just a handwritten note, it seriously means so much.
Yeah, that's something that has always been really big to me. So I like did all this in my job, my 9 to 5 jobs, like, and then I would like definitely took it to my business. I actually used to like go to Home Goods and like find cute little stuff to send in client packages. But like ain't nobody got time for that now. Like I like for some reason going to the post office is like my least favorite thing. Like I hate it, and I hate like packaging stuff up. So long story short, I do work with a local business called Panache Gift Baskets. Her stuff is gorgeous, but as I got busier and busier, it got really expensive to send one out for every client. So I save her amazing gift baskets for like really special projects or like big occasions. And now I use for client wrap up gifts, I use Greetable. It's a company called Greetable. And like, it's like just like a really small, like really cute gift box. And you can pick like, normally I do like champagne gummy bears, and they like send it out for you. Like I'm part of their insider program, so I get all these credits, but it probably cost me like maybe 20 to 25 bucks per box. And like, it's really quick to do. And I just like, I do that now. And like, that's something that I've added recently. And then
will you send me a link to, what is it, Greetable, when we hop off this, just so I can put it in the resources for people watching?
And it'll be in the blog post about this that I'll give you the link to as well.
Okay, cool.
But in terms of like, I mean, that's like the fun stuff. In terms of like less fun customer relationship management stuff and client experience stuff, definitely like CRM is important. Like I use Dubsado, which is awesome. Like that's like less glamorous. Like it's not as fun as like sending out a fun package, but that is really important too, just to like, first of all, to keep myself organized, but also so clients, like they have the portal, they can see all of our invoices. Like they have like everything super organized. When they sign a contract, they can just do it by clicking the link and pay the invoice right there. Like that's really important too. Cause if you're sending them like invoices, they have to like send a check, or like a contract they have to print out, sign, and scan. Like that's a pain in the neck, and no one wants to do that. So like,
yeah. And these are things that like you don't realize are a huge pain in the butt for clients when this is part of your system for so long. Like if I were to constantly be sending out like PDFs for people to sign for contracts, and they have to print out and scan them and put them back in, it's like, I don't see the problem in that, let's say hypothetically, you know, if I've been doing that forever. But like for the client, that's kind of lowering their client experience. They're like, well, this is kind of a big pain in the butt. So even just doing a little bit more simpler things, like having a system where they can sign online, where they can pay part of the invoice online, just making everything easy for the client, it really does make a huge difference on like how the project goes.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, for you, I think that's like one of those things that's beneficial for both parties. Like Dubsado, I can like literally look at every project I have and where we're at with them. Like as opposed to before, like, you know, I mean, I think it's a hard thing to invest in, because like when you're not super busy in the beginning, it's hard to cough up like 300 bucks or whatever. But like I got to a point where I was like creating all these like proposals myself, like in like PDF form, and I honestly would be like, I don't even remember what's included in this like project. Like I have to go through my emails and find the attachment, and like just having it all in one place, like for me it makes it so much easier. But I know my clients really appreciate like being able to pay with a click, being able to sign something with a click. Like I do proof agreements. Like if I'm designing a business card, you have to sign the proof to make sure like it's perfect before you ship it, before you go into production. And now they just have to like click a button, initial it, and go, as opposed to before when I'd have to like create this whole like PDF, and they'd have to do some crazy, like, it's just so much easier this way. Like,
yeah, I feel like you have so many like really, really good ideas of like how, especially like designers, or like creatives can like up their client experience.
yeah.
If you had to pick one, what's your favorite thing to do for clients that you think like really, really sets Bonnie Bryant Creative apart?
Definitely the virtual coffee date. I wish I could like copyright that or trademark it, because I know like people are gonna use it, and then like I don't want everyone to use it because it's so special. Big deal for me. I mean, the $5 that I pay someone like in the Starbucks card is worth it. I've only had one person kind of like be a little bit weird and scammy, and I was like, if you're gonna go through like the process of talking to me for 15 minutes to get a free $5 Starbucks card, like go right ahead. Like,
You're like, you know, at that point, like, here's your coffee.
I love doing the unexpected. Like I love with Greetable, you can customize the little boxes. So if it's someone I've done a brand design for, I'll like put some of their illustrations in it. And I'm not even kidding. Like when I get the notification that their Greetable has shipped, I like check it every day. I'm like, when are they gonna get it? Like I can't wait. And then sometimes I'll do some unexpected stuff too. Like you know, a client she was like a really special client of mine. I designed her her brand and stuff, and she's just been supportive of me forever since I started my business. So I designed her, it wasn't part of our contract or anything, but I designed her like note cards using her new logo. And I just had them sent, they were really beautiful on really beautiful paper. And I just had them sent straight to her with some branded little stickers and stuff. And that was just like a really nice surprise that she got. And that was like I love doing those little surprises that people like will get and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And like that are really special to them. So
Yeah, I think that that's so, it's so powerful. I mean, to get surprises in the mail is still to this day one of my favorite things ever. But it's all it's also, what was I gonna say? It's like, I don't know, being able to show your appreciation for them too. So it's not just like taking your client experience up a notch to like make them fall in love with you, basically. It's like they're supporting your business. So it's just another way for you to show like how grateful you are for them. And I feel like once they get a gift, it's like it's less hard for them to be mean in an email because they're like, oh, she's so sweet. And you're like, I am so sweet.
the good thing is now that I kind of like with my new like, not that I don't like screen people. Like I said, I'm not like you're a jerk, I'm not gonna work with you. But like I said, most clients, like when they see what I do, they see my work, they see like who I am, they want to invest in me. And the people that want to do that are usually like awesome people. Some people
Yeah, because you're showing your personality from the get-go, and it's like people that connect with your personality, those are the people that you want to work with. You want to work with people that you click with. Like that's so important.
there are still people that sometimes I have clients that like kind of are not super nice, but even then I'm like, you know what, every time I send a gift I'm like, I write in the like, I'm like, thank you for trusting us with your business, like, and I never for like lose sight of that. Like that's like still even now I'm like, that's like a very big responsibility and one I don't take lightly. And like that's what I always say. Like, and even like when like I always thank them, like when I send like the Starbucks card, I'm like, thank you for your time because you took 15 minutes out of your day to ask me questions and because you give a crap about hiring me. Like I appreciate the time out of your day to do that. So I'm going to thank you with buying you coffee, like that type of thing. Just like from a space of like gratitude, and people really, I mean, and because it's genuine, people really like, it really resonates with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I wanted to interview you on this subject, because I think it is such a powerful and like different thing that you do. Like in the online world, I haven't seen anybody that goes above and beyond like you do. So like just learning the little tips of the tricks of the trade and like how you do things and like, you know, just the little tweaks that you make that make your client experience so much better. I think that they could be really, really helpful. So how has focusing on giving your clients an awesome experience helped you grow your business? Like, did it open, or does it ever open like any opportunities that you don't expect?
Yeah, because my clients become like, I become their cheerleaders too. Like, you know, I follow them on Instagram. Anytime they post something cool, I'll share it to my followers. Again, because I like them and we're friendly now, and like I want to grow their business. Like I just want to, I'm enthusiastic about it. And my clients have become my biggest cheerleaders too. Like they refer me out to so many people. They share my stuff too. Like a lot of clients will like, I have a product side of my business, Shop Bonnie, and like a lot of clients will like go on there and buy stuff too, like, which is cool because then I think it's really about like building connections, and like we build a really genuine connection through working together on the project, and then we kind of just like continue that like friendship as well. So it's definitely, I mean, I think like the biggest thing is it just like helps solidify that connection. I'm not just like doing your website and like I'll see you again, never like talk ever again.
Yeah.
It's just on Instagram. We keep in touch, like, you know, and just continuing that relationship, keeping that relationship going. Like I always send like holiday cards too. That's another way to keep that connection alive. But I think it's just people, like I get so much work through referrals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like it really helps like with word of mouth too, because if somebody's like, hey, you know, they're showcasing like their brand or their website, you know, that Bonnie Bryant Creative has done, and it's like, you know, people ask that person like, hey, who did your website? How did you like working with them? And they're like, oh my, like this client experience was so amazing. And it's like, it's just so easy for them to kind of gloat about you without even trying, because you do so many awesome things that it takes the word of mouth literally like up 12 notches.
Yeah. And like, I think that's too, like sometimes like not every project goes like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes there are like roadblocks or hiccups or stuff like that. And I think just managing expectations is really important too. Like when things aren't so sunny, like you know, if someone's like, not that people are ever really like unhappy with something, but if something takes longer than expected, or like, you know, like let's say we're doing some website thing, but it's like there was an issue with WordPress and it's like it took a little bit longer to launch a website or something like that. When like things like that happen, I think that like just being honest with people, managing their expectations, and also like even like days when I'm out of the office, being like, hi, I got your email. Like this week I've been so sick, for example. Like, hey, I got your email. I'm just letting you know I've like been in bed for 2 days. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Like there's definitely a line between overextending yourself and like answering emails at 11 at night when you shouldn't be. And like also managing expectations. So you might not be able to get back to them at that moment, but you like let them know when you will be able to get to it, like that type of thing.
Yeah. I think that that's really beneficial, especially from like a client end. So does all of this stuff take like a lot of extra time on your hand, or you think that you've kind of systemified it so that it's like, it might take a little extra time, but like it's totally worth it because it's like word of mouth, more clients, and like the relationships that you build?
No, it does. It's like basically, and I'm like definitely an operations person. Like I love operations stuff. It really doesn't. Like if we're like, you know, they schedule their Dubsado has changed everything for me. So I'm not gonna lie, like setting up your CRM takes a very long time, and there's like oh my god, like there can be some major screw ups. Like I accidentally sent an invoice to someone who like a big unpaid invoice to someone who hadn't even signed on with me yet, because like I was trying to get the workflow going and like messed up. I was so embarrassed, but like when stuff like that happens, you just like apologize and say like, I'm so sorry, my CRM is wonky, I apologize. Like, you don't have an unpaid, like an overdue invoice, like obviously.
Please disregard all past things.
Basically setting up my CRM has been awesome. So now like someone will book a call with me. I notice like I got the notification. I'm like, hey, can't wait to talk to you Monday. The call's over. I do the Starbucks card, which takes like 3 seconds because I have an account with Starbucks. You know, the CRM helps with everything else. Like doing a new proposal takes like under 5 minutes now in Dubsado, which used to take me like an hour. And then at the end, like when the project's over, like doing the greetable, again, I have an account with them. So I just kind of like, that's like less than 5 minutes too. So I've really like turned it into a system. If I hadn't, like if I was still like going to Home Goods and picking out like the cutest little random thing and packaging it up myself, that takes forever. Like I don't have time for that. And it's not a good use of my time to do that, which is why I've kind of outsourced that. But
so it's kind of like you figured out what is like a happy balance between like time well spent and then like the impression that you make with the client.
Exactly.
So if an online business owner was thinking about taking their client experience game up a notch, what's like the very like either the first thing or like the bare minimum that they should consider?
I think most people don't realize where they're kind of lacking in client experience. I think it'd be a blind spot for a lot of people. So I hate to be like, ask a friend, like what they would think, but like, I don't know, try to think of it from your customer's perspective. And like, this is the thing where it can be hard to teach because it comes so naturally to me that like, I like, you know, a lot of people are like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, but I'm like, oh, what else could we do?
What about like, regardless if the project is big or small, just like sending a handwritten note after, like that's something that they could start with. Because I mean, let's say that like you're just starting out, you don't have a big budget. Let's say your project, you know, sizes aren't that big yet to be able to spend X amount of money on like a wrap up gift basket or something like that. What about just like a handwritten card where it's just like, dude, thanks for working with me.
What I normally tell people, so I like design clients like brand stationery. So I'm always about like make the nicest, coolest gift, like thank you cards ever, because I love to design the craziest stuff. But if you don't have the budget for that, like honestly, go to Target, go to their like little gift card section, go to like find the boxed gift cards, find the one that's closest to your brand, whether it's like the colors of your brand or whether it's like more like the feel of your brand. Like let's say it's really fun and bright and those are your brand colors. Just find whatever like 10 set or 20 set box of like thank you cards or blank note cards that they have and just use those. I mean, it's not going to cost you more than $20 and then for the box of them, and then like you just send the stamp, and that's just like the bare minimum that you can do. You don't need like fancy branded stationery, even though I love designing it and I love to do it. If you're just starting out, you don't necessarily need that. But even that little touch is really important. And that's like the bare minimum I think that anyone can do.
Yeah. And then
Bad handwriting, have like someone else write it for you. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, right. You're like paying your niece that's like really good at calligraphy to like write this note card out. So yeah, I mean that like for me, for example, I have written out note cards before, but a problem that I ran into was that since I work online, I didn't have anybody's address. I didn't have their mailing address. So guys, if you're watching and you're thinking about, sending out a note card or sending something to your client, maybe ask them what their physical address is in your questionnaire so that you have that information without asking them for it, so that it like asking them for it like right when you need it, so that it still comes as like a surprise.
Yeah,
because they're not going to remember filling out that questionnaire with their physical address in it, but then you still have it when you need it.
I always ask for like a mailing address too, because like sometimes it's like I just feel like mailing address is more like, or like less awkward. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well yeah, instead of like their home address and then
doing like a quick turnaround with a client, like, or like a big company or something, and you're talking to the marketing director and you're like, oh, by the way, Denise, what's your address? What's like your address? Then she's like, why do you need to know my address? That's creepy. But you can say like, what's the company's mailing address? And then send it to her attention, so she doesn't think you're like personally sending her like something in the mail. Like,
yeah, you should definitely take Bonnie's insight on that and not mine, because mine could come off as a little stalkerish, which we don't want to
but
do.
I do put it in my questionnaire. Like when someone works with me, it's like I always like on my Dubsado like form, it's like the boring but important stuff. So it's like name, phone number, email, and then I just say like business mailing address, because it's going to get to them. But if you're like, for example, I work with bigger corporations, I'm like, it's like I'm not going to ask for like the marketing director's house or apartment.
Home address.
So saying like business mailing address is like a good medium where people don't think you're going to like show up at their house with like donkey or whatever.
Done like a clown with balloons and flowers.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so I think that we kind of touched about this a little bit. So in terms of client experience, it's all great when you and the client really click and everything's all fine and dandy. But we all run into client issues when running, especially a service-based business. So how do you handle potential client issues in a way that doesn't disrupt their experience with you?
I think that like a lot of it comes from like the outset, like always, and like a lot of it I learned from having like really crappy clients at the beginning. Everybody signs a contract, period. Like I had a client, like I learned that the hard way. Like I would just be like, oh, I trust them not to screw me over. Like, so you kind of set up those boundaries in place. Like everyone signs a contract. You have to set up those, like, I think like in any relationship, like setting boundaries is the first part, the first a positive experience. So, like everyone signs a contract. The contract outlines all of the rounds of revision and stuff like that. It outlines the communication. Like I have a no texting policy. So if
Me too, because it's so important. I once literally had a client text me on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. and I was like, listen, you're a cool human, but you are not the text that I want to wake up to on a Sunday morning at 7 a.m.
Well, I got like 11:30 p.m. Saturday text, and like after that, like no texting policy. Like if you want to do a phone call with me, that's fine, but like I need a heads up first so I can fit it into my schedule. Like just so people don't expect that they can call me like, and I learned that from like a bad client who would continually call me nonstop until I picked up, which is like not cool.
Oh my God.
I think setting those boundaries is important. So that's like a good way to start it. So then again, if like there's an issue, like if they keep texting you or they get mad that you're not, or they call you 5 times in a row and you're not answering, you can always say, per our agreement, I have no texting policy, please email me. So just like having that to like start with is a good thing. I think if there's any like conflict in a relationship, I think it's best to just be honest, like set the expectations from the beginning and just be honest. Like,
Yeah, like stick with your boundaries, especially, I think is a huge thing. Set up the expectations.
Yeah.
Be honest and just communicate, because at the end of the day, it's like they're humans. We're all humans, honestly, just doing the best that we can. And sometimes it's like I've had clients that, things can get a little sticky, but I think that empathy works really, really well. Like you don't really know maybe what's going on in that client's personal life that's maybe going into this, and maybe it's not a personal thing on why they're answering their email so snarky or something like that. So yeah, I think just like keeping those boundaries, communication, being honest, and having grace with it, with yourself and with them.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if someone's being like really snarky over email or over the phone, it can be hard to not take it personally, especially for me. But I've learned that just like keeping a level head, like being calm and just being super polite. I know you probably deal with the same thing. Like when you're in an industry that's very visual based, like design stuff, it can, like if people don't have a vision of what they want, they'll be like, oh, I'll know it when I see it. But then you can design until the cows come home and they're never going to like find out what they want. So that's when, if they don't know what they want, that's when I like, that's sometimes if they like, you know, it's like the fourth round of revisions and they haven't like enjoyed it yet, or they don't like it yet. You could be like, I hate this person and get like snarky back with them. Or you can be like, hey, can you specifically tell me what you don't like about this? Is it the color? Is it the shape? Like that type of thing. And just like keeping a level head, and like the objective is to finish the project. So like doing that as efficiently and as effectively as possible instead of like, I don't know, getting annoyed. But then like I said, setting up the boundaries is the most important part, like in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that is really, really important on like all aspects of working with clients.
Yeah.
Is like those boundaries and communication. Okay, so I know that social media is a huge platform and part of growing an online business. And I know that like client experience has definitely like helped you get word of mouth and things like that. But can you highlight maybe one thing you do on like social media on one of your favorite platforms that kind of ties into your client experience? Like besides maybe sending them a physical something, like something specific that you do on social media for them?
I think cheerleading my clients is really special to like to both of us on social media. Like for example, we have a client, Alexa, who owns a business called Healthy Dash of Social, and she always posts like really cool stuff. And like whatever, if I see something on her feed, I'll like just post it to my stories and be like, check out our client Alexa, she's awesome, like that type of thing. I'm very like, I have a business Instagram, but I'm like, I don't want to say personal, like I don't share like personal stuff about my life, but I'm like very friendly, and you see my personality a lot in like my stories and my captions and stuff like that. And I actually like felt like I was throwing like, I don't know, time and money into like an endless pit through Instagram for so many years. But then I finally started getting a lot of business through Instagram. So it works. It just takes a really long time and it's really hard to track the ROI. But just like, I think putting your best work out there, being friendly and approachable on there, being, I don't want to say personal because I hate when people just like their business account is full of pictures of like their kids, but being personable, if that makes sense, like being a real person, not being too stiff or formal.
Yeah, and then just like showcasing your client work. Like it doesn't come across like braggy or anything like that. Like when you showcase your client work or like repost something that maybe your client did on social media, or like kind of do like a launch post or celebrate them in some way, I think that that's just another way that you can like up the client experience on social.
Yeah, like whenever we launch a brand or a website, I always post it on my Instagram. And then I keep like, you know, like with anybody doing their social media, I keep a library of like content to pull out whenever I don't really have anything. So I'm always like marketing past clients because, you know, I did their logo a year ago, but I'm going to put it up today because I need like that color in my feed or something. So I think that's another good thing. Like you just, I mean,
yeah, it gives you content too, essentially.
For us, when you're doing B2B stuff for someone else, like you're working, like your work is showing off them. So it's kind of a mutual relationship. You know what I mean? As long as you don't have to like sign an NDA or something like that. But that's another thing I keep in my contracts. Like we can use your work for portfolio purposes, and like 99% of people are like fine with it.
Yeah, that's definitely, that's a good thing to keep note of, especially if you're in an industry where like NDAs are more common than like not uncommon. You got to be careful about that whole social aspect of it sometimes.
Yeah, you have to I always put it in my contracts. I mean, for most of my clients, but like for bigger corporations, they might want you to like white label your work, which means like you do the work, but you're their contractor and the work is under their umbrella. Like they don't want you being the face of it or something. So just always make sure, but most people are okay with it, you know. And
yeah, that's
about it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I feel like it gets them amped. And even like if you're sharing it a year later, they're like, oh, that's right. Well, I'm glad that she's posting about, like, it's great when you see that you're tagged in something and that like your old designer, for example, is posting your logo because they're still stoked about it. That like re-amps up your feeling about it. You're like, yeah, that logo is good. I love my logo. And then you're like posting about it too. And then it's just like this collaborative hype party about like the work that you guys made together.
I feel like I like to do hype parties on social media all the time because like I like love my clients. I love the work I do for them, obviously. So I'm always like, I love it. Like I just always am doing that all the time.
Okay, so if you could give somebody one actionable tip about focusing on improving their client experience, what would it be?
Like honestly, if we're talking about like really important stuff that might not be as fun as like picking out fun stationery, like I said, look at your experience. Like write down the step that, let's say like from the inception to the end of a project, write down every step that you go through to get there. Like client books a call. What does that look like? And the steps that you need to do for that to happen and the steps that they need to do for that to happen. So for example, with myself, before I organize my CRM, it would be like client emails me. We email back and forth trying to find a good time for a 15-minute call. I have to manually remind them when the call is I need to remember to manually remind them. Like, and then they do the call. Then I need to go on like, you know, Word and type up a whole proposal. And like, so at that point, like this has been like 2 steps and you're already like sick of hearing about it because it's so much work. And so if you're starting to look like that, you can see that it's a lot of work for you and it's a lot of work for the client, as opposed to now the client clicks one button, books a call. They get the reminder emails. You know, they get the proposal from me, they click a link, they sign the contract, they pay. They click a link, they do their questionnaire, they send it to me. They, I have their brand design, they click a link, they go to the website, they look at everything. They don't need to open up a million attachments. They don't need to add notes to anything. It's all there. So look at your entire client process, even just for like one of your services, just to see like what that looks like and try to streamline as much as possible. Like we offer a ton of different services through Bonnie Bryant Creative, but the process is pretty much the same through all of them because we've like streamlined all of our CRM stuff. And that, like, I can't say enough. That's been like a total game changer. Like I used to like dread sending proposals because it would take like an hour. Now it's like, it's still annoying, but it takes 5 minutes. It's like an annoying 5 minutes as opposed to like an annoying 60 minutes. So
yeah, for sure. I think that is a really good tip. So like before you even get into like the crazy fun stuff and like amping up your client experience with like thank you gifts and all this, like make sure the actual project workflow and like the experience that this client is getting with you from beginning to end not only makes sense for them, but for you. It's like you want to find that happy medium. Yeah. And then you want to keep it as less stressful for everybody. Because I mean, I don't know, the world is stressful enough. We don't need to add to it. So it's like, simplify it if you can. And that's really going to up your client experience.
And B2B, like if I'm like, let's say Mariah, let's say you hire me to do whatever, your brand or something, or your website. You are running Mariah Magazine Studio. Your like whole job is not to like answer questions for me. Your job is to like run your business, and you hired me to do this project. So to expect the client to put like a ton of time and stuff into it, like they don't have the time to spend on a lot of this stuff as well. So like I really think it's important, like not just for like you, for the business owner, for like you to make your process streamlined because it's annoying for you to do all this stuff. It's really a beneficial thing for both of you. So I think
that's a really good point. But that's not to say that the client shouldn't get any homework.
Oh no, clients do have to do homework. And I think that when you really like boil down your process to its essence, that's like another thing I put in my contract. If you don't do your questionnaire for 6 months, like your project is going to take a long time. And I even say that on the strategy call, like the virtual coffee date, like they ask like, how long does it take? And I usually say like 4 to 6 weeks if you do your homework. If you're not going to fill out the homework that you sent me, I can't get started until that's done. So that's like a really thing. Like what are the non-negotiables? You need obviously pay your deposit, sign the contract, do the questionnaire.
Yeah, it's like I want to help your business grow, but you need to give me the information that I need about your business in order to do what you hired me to do.
Yeah. And that's actually another thing that just reminded me that I talk a lot about on the virtual coffee dates. Even when like, it's basically a chance for them to ask me questions, but I always tell them the process. Like right before, I'm like, all right, if you don't have any more questions, this is our process. You do the call, I send your proposal, you pay, you sign the contract. Then you have a questionnaire. You have to fill that out for me. Once I get that back, I'll send you options. And then you're going to need to give me feedback in a timely manner. I even say like with the questionnaire, like it's probably going to take 15 to 20 minutes. You're not going to spend 3 hours on it. But I like to give a time investment, like timeline, just so people can know what to expect. Like people can't expect that I'm going to do their whole website and not talk to them all the time and not have any questions for them. And also like I want to let them know, like you're going to need to do some homework, but it's not going to take like 35 hours to do. You know what I mean? So I'm really clear about the entire process on the phone with them in the first contact, just so they know what to expect. And I'm able to do that because I've streamlined my process so much that like, it's kind of like bing, bang, boom, like got the questionnaire, jump to the brand design, finish that,
Yeah.
like that type of thing. So that's really important too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, like all of these perspectives just make so much sense that, you know, like maybe as a new online business owner or somebody that's been kind of focusing on their own process for so long, maybe there's things that they haven't realized that they could up their game in that will up their client experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to, you know, chit chat about this because I think that it's really, really helpful. Do you have any resources or like tool recommendations or like information for people watching this where like maybe they can get started, or like I think that we went over a few resources that we want to link to?
Yeah, I have a blog post that I'll send you the link for that goes over like all of this stuff. Like the Greetable link, Dubsado, which is the CRM I use, all that type of stuff. Plus like an outline of like my experience and how people can kind of go through and like look at their process and like streamline it too.
Yeah, I think like an inside look of like your client experience would be really helpful for people to be able to see, and maybe they can pull parts that might, you know, either work for them or like it might spark some inspiration for their own industry or for their own clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely link to those resources in the blog post so people can access them easily. So now,
personal
wait,
for you too.
Wait, what?
I was going to say, I think it's important to make it personal for your business too. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe what I do is not good for your clients or you thought of something better, but I think it's a good thing to personalize it as well. Like everybody can do what works best for them and their clients.
Yeah, because you don't want something that's going to take up a whole bunch of time. You don't want to do something that you're not stoked about, because at the end of the day, like the energy that you put behind the things, people can feel that. So it's like if you're like dreading sending out this thing, maybe people aren't going to be as stoked about opening it.
Yeah, exactly. Or you think of something so cool that I haven't even thought of and you're like, this is awesome, I'm going to do it. Like, you know, like.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that even having like these resources for them is definitely going to spark some inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I only have one more question for you.
Okay.
And it's probably the most important question. Your face. Where can people find you online and connect with you?
Sure. BonnieBryantCreative.com. Instagram, Facebook, at Bonnie Bryant Creative. Pinterest. I think my Pinterest is Bonnie Bryant Creative. LinkedIn, you can find me at Bonnie Bryant. All that type of stuff.
Okay, yeah, so I will go ahead and link to those in the blog post as well. So Bonnie, I just want to thank you for being a guest on the Work the Web interview series. I think that we went over, seriously, so much helpful information for people that are curious about leveling up their experience that they give to their clients, because, I mean, like we chatted about, it can really make a huge difference and help you get the word out, essentially, and help you grow your business, reach more people. You know, there's so many different benefits of taking your client experience up a few notches. And I think we went over like a whole bunch of them. So this was really, really helpful. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
And then guys, if you are watching, make sure that you check out the other interviews in this Work the Web series. I've talked to a lot of really helpful online business owners, and they gave some insanely valuable tips on what they focused on that has helped them grow their business in ways that, you know, that works for them. And then as always, if you enjoyed this video, just give it a really quick thumbs up for me. And if you have any questions for me or for Bonnie, go ahead and comment them below this video, and we will talk to you later. Bye.